Hey everyone, this is Andre Matoran. I'm a violinist and producer from New York City, and I'm here in Tulum. Want to thank Papaya Playa for hosting this performance in this beautiful spot, oceanside. Can't imagine a better place to celebrate our oceans. I'm grateful to be here. Thank you for tuning in, and I hope you enjoy my music.
Wonderful. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Fabian Cousteau Ocean Learning Center's Ocean Connection event. Virtually, I welcome you. My name is Katie Hammond, and I will be your host for this evening. Thank you so much for joining us. It's always an adjustment when we can't be together physically, so we really appreciate you taking the time to come to us in this new virtual landscape. We are so excited to be here tonight. I brought my aquarium with me for the occasion, and obviously we're all here to gather and to support the Fabian Cousteau Ocean Learning Center. So thank you. How about that amazing opening? Andre's violin playing with those beautiful images of marine life helps us really realize the beauty that lives in our precious oceans. So I'd like to say thank you so much to Andre for your performance and your beautiful music. We are inviting everyone, all of you here tonight, to sit down, get comfortable, grab some snacks, maybe a drink, pour yourselves a glass of your favorite beverage. I'm having ice cold water as we begin our show. We all want to make sure that we stay hydrated. So thank you so much for being here. Our theme for the night, obviously, is ocean connection. This is a message that Fabian continues to shout out to the world as he believes that in order for us to work together to save this beautiful blue planet, we must be connected to our ocean and realize that everyday actions affect our oceans and in turn affect our health as well. I think you're all really going to enjoy this program tonight for what we have in store for you. It is a really exciting evening of smart, savvy people coming together for a good cause. Our program is about 75 minutes and we have an amazing lineup for you. So sit back and enjoy. Many of you are already familiar with the Fabian Cousteau Ocean Learning Center and the work that they do to protect our oceans and marine life by developing programs that will help keep our marine life healthy. Fabian and his team have saved sea turtles in El Salvador and Nicaragua. replanted mangroves in Florida, hosted beach cleanups in Nantucket and Long Island, as well as the recently announced, very exciting, I was just looking at this on social media, the Proteus, the world's next international space station underwater. It's pretty exciting. But tonight, our main event, we are going to hear all about the Coral Reef Restoration Program. This is a program that uses truly innovative approach to 3D printing technology to help regenerate and grow new coral reef ecosystems. We have some really special guests with us tonight to help talk about the program. We have Celia Gregory, who is partnering with the Ocean Learning Center for this program. Celia is founder of the Marine Foundation, who will bring a dynamic artistic layer to this project by creating and submerging sculpture art installations to help the coral grow. I cannot wait to hear more about that. And she's gonna give us a peek at some of her art installations, so we get to see what she's been making. Later in the program, Celia will be joined by Jeremy McCain, the founder and CEO of OCN.ai. Justin Muir will also be joining us, the CEO of City Aquarium. And of course, we have our guest of honor this evening, Fabian, for an ocean talk on the Coral Reef. Toward the end of the program, we will have a very special treat for you when we share the global debut of the Ocean Connection video. We've been working really hard on it, and we cannot wait for you to see it. But before we move on, we want to find out where most of you are from and go over a few housekeeping issues. Since we're here in the virtual setting, we want to keep you engaged as much as possible. So the way we're going to do that first is we're going to use that chat feature on Zoom. So for those of you who are new to Zoom, if you want to look to the bottom of your screen, there should be a little chat bubble, like an old cartoon bubble. And you want to click that and type in where you are connecting in from. I myself am in Queens, New York. We have a San Francisco. Wonderful. Thank you, Elise. I'd love to see where you're from, who's coming in from the furthest away, who's the closest. We've got another San Diego, Antigua. Oh my gosh, Kavina, take us with you all. Let's see, Rhode Island, amazing. Queens. We also have another Queens, New York. Derek Preston, I wonder where in Queens. We might be neighbors. How wonderful. Fort Lauderdale, Florida, Honduras, hola, wonderful. Oh my gosh, in Tuscany, a beautiful beach in Tuscany, Deborah says. Well, rub it in, Deborah. We are all jealous of you. In my hot, non-air conditioned apartment, Chicago, Illinois, another Bermuda, Staten Island, Connecticut. Wonderful. Keep those chats coming. We cannot wait to see how we can connect as we talk about the ocean connection. As the program goes on, okay, Trisha, in Bali, of course you are in Bali. That's the perfect place to talk about the ocean. We love that. Riverdale, New York, Fairfield, Connecticut. Thank you. We want to say thank you so much for being here and joining us tonight as we talk about the ocean and our connection. So as we move on this evening, that chat feature is going to be the best way for you to connect with us. Hopefully by the end of the evening, we will have access to a couple Q&A segments. So if you have any burning questions that you'd like to ask our experts and our panelists, use that chat feature, and our team will be monitoring the chat throughout the event so that if you have a question, if there's time at the end, we would love to have an opportunity to answer your questions. And so we are so happy that you're here. So thank you once again for joining us. All right, so before I ask Fabian to join us, I want to tell you about the Ocean Connection digital mosaic. This is something some of you may have heard a little bit about, but might be new to some of you as well. So let's talk about it. You may have seen the idea of a digital mosaic before, where the smaller photos make up a larger image. It's a little bit something like this video that we're about to see, so have a look. This is just an example. Wonderful. So what's so cool about the digital mosaic is that tonight, anyone who donates at least $30, feel free to donate more if you feel like it. This is, of course, a fundraising event. Anyone who donates at least $30 to our Coral Reef Restoration Program will have the opportunity to submit a photo to be included in a brand new, completely original, completely unique digital art mosaic that will be using your photos that you will submit, that will be included in the surprise image for the Ocean Connection mosaic that Fabian will reveal at the end of the campaign in October. So the example that we just saw is what it will, it's an example of what it could look like, but it will be using your photos, your faces, your favorite shots. You can choose to send in a picture of yourself, the beach, your favorite marine, ocean shot, any photo at all that you choose, you can submit after donating at least $30 to the program tonight. And we will use it as we make up a special image that will be unveiled in October, completely unique and all about you. So we really encourage you to think about donating at least $30 tonight towards our Coral Reef Restoration Program. And that way we can have all of your beautiful faces, your memories, your hopes, and those beautiful images included in our digital mosaic that will be revealed in October with a couple sneak peeks along the way. The other really exciting part of our event tonight is that we are officially launching the team fundraiser. As you know, the OLC does a lot of really wonderful good for the oceans and the marine life, but this fundraiser is for the Coral Reef Restoration Program. So we can go ahead and launch our team fundraiser. We're going to check out the teams that are already underway. We will be sending out an email after the event tonight with a link so that you can come to the website and have a look at this team page. You can see our overall goal for the program itself is to raise $200,000. And right now we are at about $11,414. So our overall goal for the restoration program for the next couple of months is to raise $200,000. So that is hopeful that tonight we're going to tick that number up quite a bit. We're hoping to raise $10,000 tonight. That is our goal. And we hope you can help us get there. $30, $50, $100 at a time. Everyone who donates tonight not only will have an opportunity to submit a photo to our amazing, unique, special digital mosaic, but we will also include you as a member of Fabian's Sea Stars team. So again, you can find this on the website and we will send out the link after the event in our follow-up email. But everyone who donates tonight will become a member of Fabian's Sea Stars team. So after the event tonight, you can also get in on the competition and create your own team if you'd rather that than joining another. It's really super easy. Simply visit the team page on the Ocean Learning Center website and click Create Team. Again, you can find that in the URL, which we will place in the chat shortly if you wanted to poke around now, but we will send out that link as well after the event. To make it really fun, of course, because there's nothing more fun than prizes. The top 2 teams and the top 3 individual fundraisers will be awarded some prizes. And so we'll talk more about that a little bit later. But first, we want to come back together and I want to get you involved one more time. We're going to do something called a poll. So I'm going to ask a question. We're going to test your knowledge. It's a little bit of trivia, but easiest because it's going to be, multiple choice. And we're going to talk a little bit about the warming of the oceans. So I'm going to ask a question and you're going to get a pop-up and you just select the answer you think is right. So the question is, at the current projected levels of warming and ocean acidification, what percentage of coral reefs are projected to be lost by the year 2050? What do you think the answer is? You want to just click your answer that you think it is and then hit submit. And we're going to test your knowledge. Do you think it's 25%, 50%, 75%, or over 80? Remember, all you have to do is click on your answer and submit. And I will be given the update in just a moment of where we fall on what those answers are. So the polls are coming in. And as we can see, as we wait, there we go. So 48% of you, almost half of our attendees tonight, said it was over 80%, with just behind 36% and 75%. And I will say that the 36% over 80 is very close, but at the current rates of temperature rise, oceans will become too warm for coral reefs by 2050, resulting in a 75% loss to the world's most biologically diverse marine ecosystem. So this is a really serious, scary prospect for us. And that, of course, that information comes to us from the Living Blue Planet report from the World Wildlife Fund, if you wanted to have a little bit more information from them. So we really want to dive in on protecting these coral reefs, which is why we're here tonight, because it is in such peril. And so the OLC is teaming up to take care and to watch out. So enough from me, enough of the logistics. Again, if you have, yes, we can, that's a great question. Thank you so much. We'll see if we can put a link to that report so you all can find more information on your own. But it's time, my friends. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for your patience. Let's hear from Fabian, shall we? Let me introduce, I'm honored and proud to introduce the founder of the OLC, Fabian Cousteau. He is an aquanaut, an explorer, and ocean conservationist who lived in an underwater habitat for 31 days back in 2014. Now that's a real ocean connection. So will you please join me in the most warm virtual welcome that you can. Fabian Cousteau, thank you so much for being here tonight.
Thank you so much, Katie. I'm thrilled to see so many people joining us tonight, and thank you for that introduction and all that wonderful work that you did leading up to this, and Andre, of course, for his beautiful music.
Yes, I'm going to leave you, but thank you so much, and we'll see you in just a few minutes.
I hope we'll see you soon. And I also want to thank a lot of people. There are a lot of people to thank just on the basis of the fact that without all of you, we just couldn't do what we're doing. And I have the Ocean Learning Center team to thank. Everyone's been so dedicated and has spent countless hours, not only setting up this particular webinar, but also behind the scenes, making sure that these programs are working and taking a lot of volunteer hours to do so. People like Celia, Jeremy, and Justin, and Juliet, our special guests, thank you for joining us tonight. I know the panel is going to be amazing. I know Juliet's presentation is going to be pretty phenomenal as well. Andre, again, thank you for your music. And of course, Deb, Zoe, Craig, and Katie, thank you for making sure that this platform is one that we can all share our thoughts, our love, and our hopes for the ocean. But most of all, I want to thank all of you. You who are participating tonight, who are taking some time out of your busy day, some time out of your family time, wherever you may be in the world. It sounds like you're pretty much everywhere in the world. So I thank you for waking up in the middle of the night, early in the morning, maybe having a cup of coffee with us or dinner with us. And it's very heartwarming. And the only way we're going to make a difference in the world is as a global community. So why reefs? Why coral reefs? Well, instead of my diving into a long diatribe about explaining why coral reefs, why don't I start by showing you a short video? So let's do the video.
Climate change. Climate change.
Climate change.
Climate change is real.
Real and serious issue.
Currently, glaciers are retreating all around the world.
More erratic weather, dangerous heat waves, rising sea levels, and dying coral reefs.
Coral reefs are home to about 25% of all fish species. They provide habitats, food, and protection for the numerous marine organisms. Coral reefs are also very important to people. They provide protection of shorelines, jobs based on tourism, and even medicines. Each individual coral is referred to as a polyp. Coral polyps live on the calcium carbonate exoskeletons of their ancestors. As the centuries pass, the coral reef gradually grows, one tiny exoskeleton at a time, until they become massive features of the marine environment.
The Great Barrier Reef's been having a hell of a year.
So what we've seen today is that some of the corals in this site have recovered from the bleaching, but others haven't. And the ones that have died have started to become covered in a sort of greeny, browny, sludgy algae. And what we're really worried about is that if bleaching keeps happening due to warming, then there'll be less and less time for our reefs to recover.
Coral only live in around 75-degree water. Anything higher, the coral will start to die. Cyclones also cause the coral to break up, leaving marine life homeless and exposed to predators.
Globally, over 70% of the coral reefs around the globe have been exposed to the high temperatures that cause bleaching.
As the reef experiences the worst bleaching event in its history. Coral bleaching occurs when the ocean stays at higher than normal temperatures, causing the corals to expel the algae that live on them. As the globe continues to warm and ocean temperatures increase, bleaching events like this will become more frequent and could occur annually as soon as 2030. As reefs become useless, species start to become invasive and intrude into other aquatic territories. The death of coral also represents a huge loss, as much as $375 billion annually for the local economies.
Thank you, Jordan. I thank you, first of all, for putting this together for us. Jordan is a young filmmaker and producer who was able to put this together for us. Just to explain a little bit about coral reefs. Coral reefs, of course, are much more complex than we have time to discuss tonight, but think of them, for example, as the underwater cities of the ocean, within which about 70% of our biodiversity lives and thrives and depends on, as a hospital, as a hotel, as a feeding station, and so on and so forth. Of course, they're great storm barriers for us. They're our frontline defense for hurricanes and things like that. But they're very different depending on where they are on this planet. I know in the film they were talking about the coral reef, the Great Barrier Reef, which is the largest natural structure on this entire planet that you can see from space. The only one of its kind, as a matter of fact. The second largest coral reef on the planet is the Mesoamerican Reef, which is situated right here, or I should say right south of us in North America, in the Caribbean. And as such, they're all very dynamically different and cater and shelter multiple different types of species, from turtles to the microcosmic, from sea anemones to catering to large animals such as sharks and such. And at the end of the day, the Caribbean is a bit like the canary in the coal mine when we look at the issues of climate change. And as Jordan's film insinuated, the coral itself is not one organism or a plant, but a colony of animals that, in symbiotic relationship with that hard, stony structure, grow and create habitat and create all those wonderful things that I mentioned. Now, the Caribbean, being the canary in the coal mine, is one of the places that's probably most impacted by the very nature of human activity, including, of course, and most importantly, climate change. I'm happy to say, however, that some of the places in the Caribbean are still amongst some of the top reefs to go diving on in the world. One of them happens to be in Curacao, named one of the best reefs in the world. Now, I don't know what lens they were looking through, but I can tell you the mask that I was looking through when I was diving in Bonaire and Curacao definitely showed me that there is hope out there, and that there are coral reefs that are worth saving, and there are coral reefs that are still in fairly good shape, even in some of the most stressed areas of the world. Now, as a very quick recap to our Coral Reef program, we're trying to provide a solution, or more simply a set of approaches, so that we can engage the local public, the youth, to learn about coral reefs in a very different way. Because as we're all pretty familiar with as parents. Some kids don't necessarily connect with science. And so most kids nowadays, most of us nowadays, have these things in our hands, these infernal things called cell phones, which are really mini computers. And so if we can bring technology into the program to educate and empower young and young at heart to caring about coral reefs, we've won half the battle right there. And if we can use their enthusiasm to engage them in proactive solutions, why not? So we decided a few years ago to experiment with 3D printing and modify those 3D printers to be able to print with stone. And by printing with stone, we're now able to replicate the stony structure of coral reefs so that we can quite literally print entire coral reef systems if necessary. But in doing so, and more importantly, we're able to engage a wider audience in this proactive movement so that we can give them the keys of knowledge to do better than we've done. So you see, we have a lot to do. And once we've established the program in Curacao, we can begin to replicate it in other parts of the world as needs be. Now, with this said, I have something very special to show you. And on that note, I'd like to share with you something that is the work of the Marine Foundation, who we'll be partnering with on this project. I had the opportunity to meet with Celia in Aspen. Celia Gregory is the principal at the Marine Foundation, and learn more about her work around the world. We will speak with Celia later in the program, and she'll be on our panel. But here is what she had to say when we caught up with her last week.
Hi, my name is Celia Gregory and I am the founder of the Marine Foundation, an eco-arts organisation that helps restore coral reefs around the world. We do this creatively. We approach this from an artistic perspective. I have an art background. I partner with scientists, NGOs and wonderful people to create the Living Sculptures in the Sea program, which is a merging of art and science. I place these in locations of ecotourism, where visitors can dive down and experience these incredible works of art that are constantly changing, constantly growing. They're homes to coral and fish, and they're always changing. I love it when I see new life land on their face or grow over their face like a sponge that moves across like a painter. And then it changes, and then something else comes and lives in it. I've worked a lot out of Bali. I created the Coral Goddess there. I worked with the Body Shop, Indonesia, to create the mermaid, and worked with a lovely yoga community to create Apsara. We did an amazing project in Manado with the Bunaken Marine Park. Really an exemplary example of how if we protect an area, the fish come back, the corals thrive. It really is so simple, really, in many ways, and it's very effective. So I am thrilled to be partnering with Fabienne Cousteau, a dream to partner with a member of the Cousteau family since a child. And I'm thrilled to be working in Curacao in the Caribbean, where we're going to create a marine protected area. This is an area that's dependent heavily on tourism, so the model that we're using of helping create a fabulous new dive site where people can come and see this amazing coral garden program and help the fish stocks come back. We're doing a pioneering coral gardening technique. We're actually going to be growing corals outside of the ocean in tanks using kind of aquarium techniques and bringing new coral strains into the sea, into the reefs. The reefs really need biodiversity to thrive, and this will help them become more resilient in the future. And I'm going to be creating the Yamaya goddess. She is an Afro-Caribbean goddess, and she's beautiful, and she's going to be a sentient. She's going to guard over this project. She's going to look after these new baby corals, and she's going to be beautiful. And she's only going to be one of many. We're planning on putting many more down there. So this is just the beginning of the most wonderful and thrilling journey. And I want you guys involved. This is about building team. This is about building a global network. And this is about working together and having fun. So please join us at Fabienne Cousteau, olc.org. This is the Ocean Connection campaign. I'm going to be a team leader, and come and help. Thank you so much, and I'm excited to be part of this, and I hope you are too. Bye.
That is so cool. And I'm just thrilled that we were able to team up with Celia First of all, I'm a big fan of art and the creativity, and most especially being able to have fun in projects like this. That's probably one of the most important things. As a child, that was the most important thing to engage me. And as a child at heart, it's still an extremely important aspect of any of these programs. So if we can connect with the STEAM parts of the program for all the various participants, then we've done our job. I wanted to show you all an example of a 3D printed coral. This is a tile, a very large tile that we sometimes use in our arrays, but this is quite literally 3D printed, and it's made of calcium carbonate and other organic materials. And that was one of the biggest challenges, is us using all organic materials to be able to circumvent some of the technological hurdles. And bringing in the artwork with the sculpture with Celia, melding it in with the 3D printing, and being able to connect everyone with the ocean mosaic, I think will really go very far in getting a larger audience involved in the ocean connection. Now, our theme, the ocean connection, is one of the reasons why we are also asking you to be part of the digital mosaic. And this was created, as Katie was mentioning earlier, by a very talented artist that I had the pleasure to meet just a little while ago during one of our beach cleanups. Juliet Schretzlinger is an amazing, amazing artist. I was blown away by some of the murals you've done and some of the art you've done. Juliet is just 20 years old, and yet she won art contests for her submissions and the interpretation of her Sacred Sea. She's from Long Island, New York, one of my favorite places to visit these days, and represents the next generation of ocean stewards. So let me introduce to you one of my favorite ocean heroes and young champions, Juliet. Maybe you can share with us some of why you've chosen to make the ocean and marine life such a big part of your portfolio.
Sure, and thank you so much, Fabian. I'm so very honored to be working with you in the Ocean Learning Center on this project. You're definitely a personal hero to me. Representing marine life in my work is so important to me because the ocean is made up of so many amazing creatures that really need to be protected. And I feel like as an artist, it's almost, a duty of mine and something that's really important to me to express their natural beauty through my work in the hope that, we can remind everyone of why they need protecting. And I'm so honored to be here. Thank you so much again for this opportunity and to work with you guys. Thank you, Fabian.
Well, I really look forward to this amazing artwork, Juliet. I've seen your past artwork, and I'm blown away by your talent. So thank you so much for joining our team, and thank you for all that you do for the human-ocean connection. Now, as we said, our goal is to, this project, is to help connect, my French is coming out now, help connect the world to our ocean. Because at the end of the day, our ocean is our life support system. And whether we care about the ocean or not, it gives us every other breath that we take, every glass of water that we drink, all the things that we love and cherish, including things that are intangibles, such as our sense of well-being when we're walking on the beach or just yearning for a little vacation time. For this campaign, as Katie had mentioned earlier, we're setting a low minimum donation of $30 to line up with the year 2030, which is the year the UN looks to achieve its Sustainable Development Goals for ocean science. So with that, I thank you for your participation tonight, and I'll turn it back over to Katie. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Fabian. I was inspired by all of the diving, and I went and got my goggles. This is for you. I figure if you can live underwater for 30 days, then I can look ridiculous for 30 minutes. I feel like that's fair.
I love it. I love it. Thank you for making me laugh.
You're welcome. That's what you pay me for. I may not be a beautiful 20-year-old anymore, but I could be here for comedy. So friends, as Fabian said, our goal tonight is to raise money. So how is this going to work? We've had a couple questions about it, and I can't wait to tell you. So let's go back to Fabian's team page. I know we've had a little uptick in donations since we started. So we are going to have a look. We've raised some funds since we started. He's at 11% of his total goal for his team for the entire campaign, which goes through early October. So what we're going to do tonight, again, our goal for this evening into tomorrow, because our donations will be active throughout after the event as well into tomorrow, is, as Fabian calls them, those infernal devices. We're going to ask that you get out your cell phone, because what we're going to do is something called a text to give. So our challenge, if you could get your cell phones handy, this is what we're going to do. We're going to ask that you take out your cell phone, and if you're able to give $30, again, that's our minimum ask of you, just $30, and then you can submit a photo to the amazing digital mosaic that Juliet is going to put together. So what you're going to do is text this. We're also putting it in the chat if that's easier. Text Coral Reef, all caps, to the number 347 342 1116. So again, you want to text the number 347 342 1116, and you're going to just text the Coral Reef, all caps, no spaces, CORALREEF. And once you hit send, you'll be given a response to click a link to join and be part of Fabian's team. So you're just going to simply text Coral Reef to 347 342 1116. Again, that $30 minimum donation makes you a part of Fabian's team, also includes you in our very unique, one-of-a-kind digital mosaic that will be a surprise reveal in October. And when you text Coral Reef to that number, you will receive a link to donate to be part of Fabian's team, as I said. If you want, you can put your name and the donation amount into the chat, and I will gladly give you a shout out. I brought my snorkel. I thought it would help amplify sound. It, in fact, does the opposite. So we're starting. I'm getting a notification that some donations are coming in, which is so excellent. Thank you so much. We want to go ahead and let's see. The text, we have a question from Brenda about being out of country. Can we have one of the panelists reach out to Brenda directly? We want to go ahead and donate. This is a great also opportunity. If you can't text to donate, you can go ahead and click the link that's in the chat, and you can just direct donate right there. I would love it, Craig, if we could go ahead and show the digital mosaic one more time, because that is the picture that we will be sharing with you in October, the brand new, totally unique, including your photos, your videos, your faces, your memories into the mosaic that will be shared in early October with everyone who donates to the Coral Reef Restoration Program. Wonderful. So just $30 gets your image included in our unique, total surprise, yet to be made by the talented Juliet digital mosaic for the Ocean Connection. All right. And again, if you're interested in putting any information into that chat, I would love to give a shout out to anyone who needs a shout out. Sometimes, you know, life is hard. Sometimes we need our name said with some positive affirmation behind it. So if you want to be brave enough to say, I've just donated 25, 35, 55, 505, all quantities of 5 for some reason, wonderful. And I would love to go ahead and say again how much good we've already raised. Oh my gosh, we've already raised almost $1,100 from your donations. Thank you so much. This is incredible. This money will work so hard to the goal. Eleanor Angone, I'm going to give you a major shout out. Just donated. Thank you so much. Hayden Sobel, oh my gosh, thank you so much. You just donated $100. Hayden, I've never met a person named Hayden before, so what a beautiful name. Bob Mignonia, thank you so much. You just donated $100 for a great cause. I feel like that is a name that needs to be said with a little shoulder tip. Amazing. Thank you so much. I really appreciate all of you for being here. Again, we're texting to give. If we could bring that slide up one more time for anyone who missed it the first time. We're going to text to give. You just text the words Coral Reef to the number 347-342-1116. And when you hit send, it'll send you a link and you can make your donation. Just $30 is what we're looking for. We are so excited to see what we are going to raise tonight. Our goal again is $10,000. The campaign at large, the goal is $200,000, but for tonight, we're just hoping to raise about $10,000 to get Fabian and his amazing team on the way to helping make forward progress, positive change for those coral reefs. And then of course, if you donate at least $30 this evening, you get your image included in that final digital mosaic. And we will of course have prizes for the team fundraising winners and the individual winners. And we have another donation in the chat. Thank you so much. Deborah, oh, thank you. Olivia for giving us $100. That's incredible. I really appreciate that. We know times are tough. We know that this is a really complicated time to be living in the world, but we all have a little bit more hope now that we know that there are people working hard every day to increase the well-being and the health overall of our oceans and our marine life. And that is what Fabian and the OLC is doing. So it's really an incredible program. And we're so grateful that you all are here and that you're supporting us tonight. We are going to talk some prizes. Craig, I know we have some prize slides, so I'd love to show that. For our prizes, our top two teams, our top team gets to pick one of these amazing prizes, a private virtual happy hour with Fabian himself, you and your team with a special Ocean Connection cocktail and a conversation on the coral reefs and life in the underwater habitat. I have so many questions about Fabian living in that underwater habitat that it is actually insane. I was up all night thinking about all of the different questions I had, and you would get to ask those questions. I would obviously join your team so I could be there. They also have the option of choosing a virtual event of cooking sustainably with Fabian Cousteau. Everyone knows that he has a joy of cooking, and now you get to share some of that knowledge. There also is a virtual goodie bag filled with awesome stuff for the top 3 individual fundraisers. You can check all of this out. We have more information on the prize options available and on that virtual goodie bag on the OLC website. We're going to put that actual URL into the chat so that you all can have a look at that. We are up to almost $2,500 in your donations just from the attendees here tonight. Again, our fundraising efforts will be lasting throughout the next couple of days. So we encourage you to share the word. If you aren't able to donate, we totally understand. This is a hard, complicated time that we're living through, but we really are looking to raise that $10,000 in the next couple of days for the Coral Reef Restoration Program. So we are going to go back to one more time that text to give slide, if we can, Craig, my amazing producer on the back end. We want to give people one more opportunity to see, because sometimes we're a little slow on how these things work. So if you have a cell phone handy, or you'd rather just click the link to go directly to the website, you can, the link is listed in the chat, or you can text the, you can text directly to the number 347-342-1116, and you want to text all caps, no spaces, Coral Reef, and you'll be immediately given a link that will take you to the donation page. We are so excited about what this restoration project is going to do for the coral reef itself. We want to see, we just need $150 more to hit 3,000, and that would be an amazing chance. So if you haven't yet given and you think you're able to donate just a little bit, we would really love and be so grateful for that. And reminder that if you donate just $30, you can be included in the digital mosaic that Juliet is going to design based on your images, your photos, your friends and family. Let's check out the Sea Stars for Fabian active team. We are at 25% of the goal. Let's refresh it, see how we've done. This is so wonderful. We've had so many incredible donations. Let's see how we're doing. See if we can't tick that tally up a little bit more to just $30 again, gets you included in the digital mosaic. All right. friends, thank you so much. Again, we are going to keep these donation lines open, so feel free to share the word with your friends and family. But let us move forward, shall we? I also want to say that these goggles are very tight and they're going to leave a mark in my face, but that is the sacrifice that I make for the ocean. All right, so we are so grateful to all of you for being here, for joining us, and for donation. And we thank you so much for your time, but there is the programming ahead that we are all looking forward to, and that is that ocean conversation. So I would love to introduce our guests. I'd like to welcome Fabian back to the table, as you will, for the Ocean Connection talk on coral reefs. But before I do that, let me remind you that directly after the panel discussion, which is coming up next, you will not want to miss our global debut of the Ocean Connection video. Brand new, never before seen. So before we see that, we have the panel discussion. So let me please introduce to you. I'm going to welcome them all and introduce them one at a time. So first we have the one and only Jeremy McCain, the founder and CEO at OCN.ai, coming to us from Dallas. So welcome, Jeremy. Thank you so much for being here.
Thanks for having me.
Yes, of course. I appreciate that you're also wearing eyewear. So thank you very much for that.
It's a health requirement.
That's good. Thank you, Jeremy, for being here. We also have Justin Muir, who is our CEO of City Aquarium right here in New York. So Justin, thank you for being here. Wonderful. And Celia, who we saw that wonderful video of, and now we get to see live and in person. Celia, the founder of Marine Foundation from Aspen, Colorado. And of course, we all know and appreciate Fabian. So Jeremy, I'm going to turn this over to you for a little while. Thank you so much. Take it away.
Well, thank you, Katie. And thank you for everyone that's joined us. I'm so excited to be with you all, and especially with this particular group of ocean lovers who, you know, they're just as passionate as I am about making a difference. A little background on myself. I'm an artist. I'm the CEO of Ocean ACI OCN.ai that Katie just mentioned. And our mission is to use autonomous tools to scan for life in marine sanctuaries, as well as to autonomously stop illegal fishing. I'm also the co-founder of Ultramarine Ocean Action Summit on Necker Island. But as an artist, I believe that the importance of combining art and the ocean is why it's critical that we all become ocean advocates and support the health of our ocean and our coral life. So I have a couple questions, and then we'll just open it up for questions from the audience. First, I'd like to introduce you to Justin Muir. Justin is the owner, Justin, as the owner of and designer of the City Aquarium, you have studied marine biology and have extensive knowledge of corals and biodiversity for the ocean. So the question I have is, from what has been explained so far tonight, there's a pretty cool and innovative way to restore corals using organic materials and 3D printing technology. Can you tell us a little bit more about this process? Why is it different or better than other ways that typically you see coral restoration? Did we lose Justin? I might have to do some stand-up comedy in place of this. All right, well, we'll come back to Justin. We'll give him an opportunity to come back. Celia, you're here with us as well. This is what happens with a virtual environment. People can just disappear in thin air. You know, luckily Justin's safe. He'll be back. I know he will. Celia, I wanted to talk to you a little bit about your inspiration for the Amaya Sea Garden. Can you talk to us a little bit about this process? The video, by the way, was absolutely gorgeous. Where does your inspiration come from?
Well, hello, everybody. Nice to be here. Thank you for this opportunity. I'm thrilled to be amongst such amazing people. It's really, I've been working very hard over many years to get to this place, so I feel very honored. So Yamaya is an Afro-Caribbean goddess. She is a symbol of creativity and nurturing. The goddess is a symbol that was very kind of relevant and prevalent pre-Christian, when we had a much more revered approach to nature. It was a time when we really depended on nature, and that the feminine was a symbol of that creativity and that fertility. So for me, by kind of revering this ancient image, I want to kind of reignite that sense of reverence for nature. And she will be a sentient. She's going to be the first of many sculptures that we hope to install in this sea garden. But she will stand over and she will protect and guard the project that we're going to create. She's very beautiful, and I feel that by inspiring that sense of beauty and that sense of magic is again something that's so important in this modern world. So that's really the inspiration behind her.
Beautiful. Well, thank you, Celia, for sharing this. And, you know, it's been said that the shortest path between two humans is art. And I think personally, your work makes us all want to kind of do something for the ocean. Fabienne, your work is about the ocean. I don't think that's news here. I think everyone knows that on this webinar. And you're about to launch this new endeavor. Some say it's crazy, and you know what? I love it. And ever since I was a child, I've dreamed of living below the surface. This program that you're doing is going to be first launched in Curacao, and the waters of Curacao are known to have this incredible biodiversity, or just a treasure trove of species for the Caribbean. Can you tell us a little bit about that biodiversity in Curacao and the pristine fringing coral reef, and why it's so important in the Caribbean to be doing coral reef restoration?
Yeah, so that's a very good question, Jeremy. It stems from various things. Some people may ask, why are you doing coral restoration in a place that has nice corals? Well, as much as they may be nice corals, there's a thing called shifting baselines. And when the coral reefs, the way they were when I was a kid, are certainly not the way they are now. And that can go even further back 2 generations if I start doing comparative studies. So even though it is a beautiful place to go diving, there are needs for coral restoration, even in places like Curacao. And if this is one of those places we want to save, then we need to start by going to the places that are possible to save. So for this program, of course, as I mentioned, will first be launched in Curacao, and Curacao is a beautiful place to go, of course. But as we develop a tourism, as there's overdevelopment in islands, there's going to be more and more need for coral restoration, especially near shore. And coral species vary wildly from one to the other, so we have to be conscious of that. But it is a treasure trove of species in the Caribbean, and it is a hope spot. It's a bastion that, if you look at the way corals propagate, meaning the way they reproduce, the gametes will sweep in from those islands out into the greater Caribbean and repopulate other areas. So for me, this is the birthplace or a nursery within the Caribbean system that is absolutely paramount to keep pristine.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. I mean, you know, I think it's weird. What's the great part about the ocean, and especially your project, is that we just know so little. I mean, for an example, you know, Fabienne, correct me if I'm wrong here, and I've learned today that the swordfish actually has no natural predators to be afraid of, except for the pinfish, because it's thought to be mightier. So, sorry, I'm good for the dad jokes. All right. So it would have been really more awkward.
We are the number one predator on this planet. That is very true.
That is true. That is true. Well, I don't see that Justin is with us, so hopefully he can pop in a little bit later in the broadcast so we can get back to him. But I think we've got a little bit of time here, but let's go ahead and open it up for the Q&A here. Looks like the first question I have here is for Celia. What impact have you seen from your past projects as far as education and awareness, societal benefits, and bringing your living ocean art to the world?
Well, the most important thing for me is to create a feeling of inspiration. I really believe that fear is not very productive. It doesn't make people feel very good, and that by inspiring people and creating an environment of creativity, that's where the good ideas are going to come from. That's where our motivation is going to come from. That's going to instill a feeling of hope, like what we're doing here tonight. You know, it's really important that we feel that sense of hope and creativity, and that's where we're going to find the solutions and the desire. As Jacques Cousteau said, we protect what we love. You know, how do we create that feeling? And I think art and creativity is a way of actually creating that feeling. I don't think science does a particularly good job of inspiring us. It's very useful, but it doesn't really appeal to that many people. So using a different language is really valid. I think one of the most things that I've really seen happen with the work that I do is collaboration. You know, I go to a place, I work with NGOs, I work with the local community, I work with artists, I work with scientists, and we work together. And I feel that one of the biggest problems that we face when we're dealing with environmental issues is working together. For some reason, human beings find that really difficult. I think the ego comes in and, you know, maybe we even create obstacles just to kind of create a sense of our own importance. So through these projects, we bring that team together, we help communities kind of work together, and people get to know each other, and you know, we leave a wonderful legacy of art and new dive sites, but that's just another legacy as well, that sense of working together, getting to know each other and feeling a sense of purpose together. So I think that's one of my favorite things.
Yeah, I think you're right. I mean, it's interesting because it's like, you know, nobody's going to get, I mean, there might be a few people that get excited about, you know, spreadsheets and graphs, but like art really kind of tugs at the emotions. And it's something that I'm personally fascinated with all the time, because I feel like, you know, Fabian and Celia, we all can get on a stage like we are, and we can spout all these things about the ocean, but that's our ideas conveying to the masses. And I think when we use art, it becomes our collective conversation. And I think that's the one thing that's really going to unify us. So I applaud you for your efforts. This is really great. Let's see here. Next question I have for Fabian is you guys mentioned earlier that in addition to creating a healthier environment for sea life, core to this program is the youth educational component. How exactly will the Fabian Cousteau Ocean Learning Center involve youth in this program?
Oh, that's a great question, Jeremy. And one of the things that I've, in my entire life, always felt a fundamental need for, and one that I think is of paramount importance, is engaging youth. Youth have a vital role in any restoration program. First of all, most of the programs, all the programs that we offer, and I imagine any program that a youth is involved in, has to be fun, has to be something that engages them. I know as a young person, school didn't necessarily engage me as well as going out into the field and getting wet and dirty and having a great time, and all that through absorbing some of the science by default and the experience of the elders. And today's youth are social influencers. They instill a love for the ocean. If you instill a love for the ocean in them, then this will hopefully result in a lifetime of advocacy and stewardship. At the Ocean Learning Center, you know, we're dedicated to involving youth in all our programs in various ways through you know, the educational resources that are developed by award-winning educators that allow students to gain an understanding of restoration and what that means for the ecosystem itself, to mentor programs that will demonstrate restoration processes, both live and virtually, you know, to answer some of the questions that many people have, and to show program progress as these programs evolve and mature. Dive instruction as well. For, you know, we have to remember that although some of us here on this panel and in the audience are divers, if you take the global population, we have fewer than 3 million licensed divers, globally speaking, of which only a fraction of those are actually active. So many of us on this planet will never get a chance to go underwater unless we give them that opportunity and show them why it's so much fun. So those are also very important.
Yeah, no, I totally agree with those sentiments, because I you know, it's interesting because you know, I'm like the one dad that shows up at swim lessons and my girls get in the water, and it's not just my kids, but all the kids are so excited to get in the water. It's like you don't want them to lose that. And so I think doing what you're doing and just empowering them with this kind of knowledge will lead them to think about the oceans in the future. And I really think that when we talk about climate change and our oceans, those two things are intrinsically connected. And if we can protect the ocean, I think we have a really good chance of kind of, you know, moving forward as a civilization. But it's great work that what you guys are doing. I don't think that we're going to have Justin here, so hopefully maybe he can pop on a little bit later. I really want to thank both of you guys for having me on, but it's always great to see you, Fabian and Celia. Your work just is amazing. Please keep up the good work, and if there's anything I can do, please always reach out. I'm always happy to help. And, you know, to kind of touch a little bit on what Fabian said, you know, many of you know, when it comes to the oceans, there's a lot of talk in this space, and you know what? We're human. Sometimes ego steps in the way, and not a lot is accomplished. I've often said that there's no Superman of the ocean, but there is a Justice League, And I'm inviting each of you to be members of that Justice League. So I want to thank you to all of our guests. And Katie, I'm going to turn it back over to you if you're still here. And she's got a snorkel. Amazing.
You know, I feel my goggles were a little tight, so I put my glasses on, and but with the green screen, you know. But I love the idea, Jeremy, of a Justice League. I don't know much about comics, but thank you so much.
I don't either, but it sounds good.
It sounds really good. Jeremy, thank you so much for moderating. I really appreciate it. And Celia and Fabian, obviously, thank you so much for the work that you're doing and for taking the time. I wish there's always that wish for more time at the end with that Q&A. You always want more information. And for those of you tuning in, I just wanted to say, from everyone, thank you so much for listening. Thank you for your amazing questions. We hope to collect all the questions that you chatted in and then hopefully answer them in future emails and information sharing out. So thank you, Celia. Thank you so much, Jeremy. Thank you, Fabian. And now to everyone tuning in, we are ready for the global debut of our Ocean Connection video. But before I duck out and share that video with you, Fabian, of course, will send us off in the style that only he can manage. So before I go, I just wanted to say that thank you so much for being here. We collected almost $3,500 tonight, which is outstanding in the virtual space. We're really, really grateful. A reminder that the donations will be open all the way through the campaign, which ends on September 30th. And if you are interested in joining the Seas Stars for Fabian team, you can go ahead and go on the website directly and donate on his donation page. You can start your own team, and any donation of $30 will get you included in that digital mosaic for the campaign. We cannot wait to show that to you in early October. And the campaign is open. Again, our overall goal is to raise $200,000 by September 30th. And we are so grateful for you all for being here and for listening and learning with us. And I would love to close out the program by bringing back Fabian. So thank you all so much for being here. Fabian is going to share with us the global debut of the Ocean Connection video. So Fabian, I would love it if you took it away, and thank you so much for having me tonight.
Thank you, Katie. Great job tonight. I can't emphasize the importance of all of us being connected to the ocean and of course each other. And the ocean does connect us all. At the end of the day, it is our home. It is a beautiful, beautiful oasis in space. And I thank you all for helping that place become a healthier place for our children. The world has gotten a lot smaller in the past few months, and as we all can feel it with our families staying at home for the most part. And it's a real indication that we are all in this together, and we need our ocean to survive. So we need to take care of it. As we close out, I want to share this little video with you that Katie had mentioned, which is a compilation of amazing people around the world who just wanted to share their heart. And with that, it was created with love and support of our OLC community, people just like you from all around the globe who share their feelings and thoughts about the ocean and what it means to them. It's their personal connection. And I'll give you a challenge. I invite you to submit your videos and join our Ocean Connection community. You can do that by submitting your videos at fabian@fabiancousteauolc.org or on our social media channels at fcousteauolc. And with that, we'll include those in a video compilation to show the world that there are people out there, many, many, many of us, who love and care and cherish our ocean world. Now, remember, we'll be unveiling the digital mosaic in October, and where we will also be launching the OLC Ocean Challenge. Now, before I turn it over to show you the video, I want to give out a very special shout out to Eleanor Angoni, who has been our leader and our champion and acting director at the OLC. You and your family are true ocean protectors, and we can't thank you enough. I'd also like to thank the board of the OLC, who have been undying supporters, and thank you so much for being our guiding light and our sounding board. as well as Jeff, Alex, and Lisa, who work tirelessly behind the scenes to make some of these things happen and are always looking for new ways to connect people. And of course, my wife and my child for being amazing patient supporters when I can't be with them and I have to share my time with the world. So thank you all so very much. I hope that you will enjoy this video. It's very special to us. It makes me smile and have a tear of joy. So thank you. And let's show everyone this beautiful video.
What does ocean mean to me? Ocean is life. It's love. It's the universal connector that allows for all of us to thrive and survive. It is our life support system. And to me, the ocean is home.
Hi everyone, Catherine from Long Valley, New Jersey in the United States here. For me, the ocean represents an unfathomable chaos. It is so full of unheard stories, undiscovered life, and a constant change in tides. For most of my life, I was actually terrified of the ocean. However, as I've grown older, I realized that the ocean is life, ever-changing, constantly moving with purpose, and full of some of the world's most amazing secrets. To me, the ocean is something that we should strive to know as well as we do ourselves.
Hola, jo sóc la Maria de Barcelona. Per mi, l'oceà és un univers immens submergit a sota l'aigua. Un univers per descobrir i, sobretot, per protegir.
Hi everyone, I'm Jeremy McCain. I'm the CEO of Ocean.ai. I'm also an artist. I love the ocean. It means a lot to me. I mean, for starters, I like to breathe. Every second breath comes from the ocean, so, I mean, I can't complain. But I also love whales. Everyone that knows me really well knows how much I love humpback whales. I love spending time with them and learning everything that I can about them. They're just magnificent creatures. But you know what? The whole ocean is magnificent, and we need to fight for it like our lives depend on it. Because as Sylvia Earle says, they do.
Ciao, sono Rodrigo. E vengo da San Giovanni Valdarno, Italia. Per me l'oceano è il cuore e i polmoni del mondo e lì ci vivono delle creature meravigliose.
Hi, I'm Celia and I'm a global citizen. What does the sea mean to me? The sea means everything. I love the ocean. It fills me with passion. I feel its life and vibrancy, the eternal breath of the in-out of the waves as they crash against the shore. It's exhilarating.
Hey everyone, this is Andre. And to me, the ocean represents the womb, which is the source of all life on this planet.
Hi, my name is Olive Bernstein, and the ocean means a lot to me. Growing up, I was super fascinated with marine life and everything to do with the ocean. I spent a ton of time swimming and snorkeling and just exploring the ocean whenever I had the chance. So much so that actually I thought I was a mermaid for a while, and I got a portrait of a mermaid tattooed on me to represent that love of the ocean.
Hi everybody, I'm Sophie and I'm from Auckland, New Zealand. To me, the ocean represents freedom and a place I can always go to clear my mind. As my country is surrounded by oceans, I've lived by one my whole life, and I'm super proud of how clean and fresh our oceans are. I could definitely not live without being close to an ocean. It's super important to me.
Hi everyone, I'm Hayden from Mountainside, New Jersey, and to me, the ocean represents comfort. It symbolizes a place where I can get away and just relax and spend time and make memories with my family.
Hi, my name is Sonali Ganti, and I am the team captain for Emergency. The ocean to me symbolizes the beginning of life. I was born in the coastal city of Mumbai, India, and I reside in the coastal state of New Jersey today. The ocean gives me a sense of calm, tranquility, and peacefulness, My favorite activity to do by the beach is to meditate as I listen to the crash of the waves as the tide comes in and out. But the ocean also makes me feel powerful. It gives me energy and it gives me focus, which is why I want to do everything in my power to help to protect the ocean and all the life that's in it.
Ciao, siamo Roberta e Frida da San Giovanni Valdarno, Italia. Per noi l'oceano è come la mamma del pianeta, perché è piena di creature e pieno di amore.
Hi everyone, my name is Kaylee and I'm from Long Valley, New Jersey. To me, the ocean represents education. We've only discovered about less than 10% of our oceans, which is crazy to think about after all the research that's been done. This leaves plenty of opportunities to learn more about our ocean.
Hallo, ich bin Claudia und komme aus Österreich. Für mich repräsentiert der Ozean die Stille, die Dunkelheit, wo man mit den Sternen sein kann und man sich wirklich mitten im Universum fühlt.
Hello, hola, my name is Max and I'm from Spain. And the ocean means to me a very fun place to investigate and learn about. And I think it's really sad that it's being polluted because the ocean is one of my favorite subjects.
أنا طارق برهان بعيش في روما. عاوز أقول المحيط ويانا هو روح حياة لكل البشر عايشين في العالم.
Olá, meu nome é Rafael e eu venho do Brasil. Para mim, o oceano representa paz, saúde e tranquilidade. Essas três palavras, para mim, resumem bem a sensação que eu tenho cada vez que eu vou ao mar. O oceano traz vida, para mim traz descanso e também traz esportes. E é por isso que ele é fundamental na nossa vida.
Hi, Eleanor here from Atlantic Beach, New York. To me, the ocean is like an orchestra, and it plays a beautiful symphony. Sometimes it's soft, quiet, can rock you to sleep. Other times it's rough and wild and can give you the ride of your life. For me, growing up in Rockaway Beach, New York, it's always been a part of my life. So it's really like going home.
My name is Kayla and I'm from Lido Beach, and the ocean gives me a love. I love going surfing. I love jumping in the water. I like the belly flop in it. I love the ocean. It gives me love, and if you love it, it'll love you back. It'll give you the best waves ever. And if you love it, remember, it'll love you back.